Welcome to this digital exclusive right here on CNN News 18. I'm Ridhima Bhatnagar. We're keeping a close eye on all the developments that are taking place post Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan, which has now angered Beijing. What does this mean? What can we expect in the days to come? I have a very special guest joining us from Beijing, Anna Tanger, a policy expert now joining us. So thank you so much for taking our time and joining us here. What we've seen play out, many are saying, are just the beginning. I want to specifically focus on Taiwan. Is this a shot in the arm for Taiwan, or is Taiwan now becoming collateral damage?
Well, it's not clear whether Taiwan invited Nancy Pelosi. If they did, it will be a different set of circumstances. Obviously, Tsai Ing-wen is involved in coming up to an election. She wants to appear strong. The biggest issue she has is not her handling of the economy, but the hyping up the threat that China poses. So at this juncture, it's I don't know if they're a collateral damage or not. They've outlawed. I mean, they've basically put a stop to some fish and fruit. That is not very serious. But this export of sand to Taiwan, because it affects the construction industry, will have some effect.
True. So Taiwan is also now saying that they don't want a war, but they're also sending out a clear message that they won't shy from one if there is one that breaks out in the days or months to come. Many also now pointing out, could Taiwan become the new Ukraine?
Well, I don't know what you mean. I mean, there are different circumstances in terms of an armed resistance. The U.S. has done a series of white papers over the years, and they've basically said there's no way they could stop an invasion of Taiwan. They would love to see guerrilla action, like in Ukraine. This ability to fend off or delay or tie up the PLA, but it's not probable that they have the forces to do that. The assessment within the United States is that their armed forces are woefully undertrained. The U.S. has been clandestinely sending people to try to train them, but that's a long-term exercise. It's just not clear what they're doing. But if that's what we're talking about failure. If there is an invasion, it's not going to be good for China. It's not going to be good for the U.S., nor will it be good for the world. Remember, this will impact India adversely because the price of everything will go up.
But what about China? The messaging that we've been seeing from China is that there will be dire consequences for United States and for Taiwan. So is China just flexing muscles, or is an invasion a real possibility today?
No, at this juncture, the relationship has been irreplaceably damaged. China believes that a series of communiques, 3 of them that were signed from the early 70s to the early 80s, were the basis of the relationship. They wanted Taiwan to be recognized as part of China. That has now been broken in their eyes. So at this juncture, there are going to be repercussions, and we will have to see what they will be. But I'm certain there'll be a combination of military in terms of these exercises, diplomatic, possibly a downgrade in the diplomatic relations, and economic, possibly tariffs against goods being sent to the United States.
As I said, China has been saying that those who offend China will be punished. Where do you see this headed in the weeks to come?
Well, I think what the U.S. wanted was some sort of knee-jerk reaction in terms of a military invasion or seize an island or something like that, so they could say that, look, this is China, it's aggressor. This nice lady just went to Taiwan, and there should be nothing read into it, and there shouldn't be any crisis. The Chinese narrative is that the relationship is now broken. They could easily put these kind of economic tariffs on, and if they do that, it's going to raise the price of goods in the United States, which is already reeling from 9.1% inflation. Part of the reason the Chinese believe that Nancy Pelosi is in Taiwan is because she's been unable, her party, and her president have been unable to do anything about the rampant inflation, handling the economy, healing the divisions between the left and right, and just, in essence, governing. They've only gotten a portion of what they've wanted to pass. And the other part, they feel that this was a grandstanding last moment, a capstone to her career, given that she will probably be voted out soon during the fall elections due to angry voters.
Now, China's official response versus the response that we saw on social media actually seemed more aggressive. Were we really surprised to see that?
No, not surprising. The Chinese people are extremely angry about this. They see an incursion. This reminds them of the colonial, years, 100 years of humiliation when colonial powers ran rampant, not only in China but throughout Asia and India, taking over countries, claiming them themselves, robbing them blind, and basically treating them as second-class citizens. Uh, Resurgent China is no longer willing to do that, and I don't think India would be willing to be colonized again either. So at this juncture, yes, it has become a point of pride with the Chinese people. They are much more hawkish than the government, who tends to be more cautious. So if you're reading into this that this is a personal affront to Xi Jinping, I think you're wrong. This is a personal affront to the Chinese people.
Also, I want to understand, has this been a personal hit as far as Xi Jinping is concerned?
No, it's actually the opposites. Right now, with the Chinese people, concerned about this threat from the United States, they are rallying around Xi Jinping. I mean, there had been some disquiet over COVID and how long it's taking, whether the government should allow the opening up. But at this juncture, now the U.S. has completely solidified the Chinese populace behind their government. This is not something, this is land that they believe is theirs, that was taken from them. They expect it back. It's in their constitution. This is not negotiable. The camel's back has been broken by Nancy Pelosi. She will bear that into history, and there are going to be ramifications. Let us all hope that they do not destroy everything that everyone has worked for.
Well, we leave the discussion there. We appreciate you taking our time and joining us here.